Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you for watching my videos. I'm here joined with Inti Campo.
Hello people, how are you?
And today we're going to talk about, well, of course, Bitcoin and what's going on with Bitcoin. And also, I woke up this morning and I was thinking about what I wanted to do with all the money I make, because this is going to be a lot of money coming my way, coming with the fact that these guys are printing a lot of money, and eventually that money's going to be running into Bitcoin and other hard assets. And what the means of money is not just to get a whole bunch of money and to have that money. No, 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 no. You don't want money for the sake of having money. You want money so that you can do something else. And so I want to talk about what I'm going to be doing with that money. And if you've read the book, The Creatures from Jekyll Island, I just want to do the opposite of that. And I'm going to explain why at the end after our technical analysis. But before we go on to technical analysis, Inti has a few words to say.
Yes, as always, it's worth to remind you people that this video is for entertainment purposes only, and this is not a financial advice. Please do your own research before putting any of your hard-earned money on the market.
All right, excellent. With that said, let's head over to the technical analysis window, which is like a dog's breakfast. A dog's breakfast is basically, a big mess, right? A dog just goes and eats his breakfast and makes a huge mess. Well, yes, I know. It looks really messy here. I got a lot of information here. And you can see that we are preparing, because we've broken above the 13 EMA on the daily. This scenario is playing out. We've broken through here. I was looking for a short around here. I'll be honest, I did pull off a short at the last minute, and I didn't share it with my what's it called, Telegram group of investors, because it was just a last minute. Oh my God, there it is, and then that was it. It just came really fast, and it was like 100. It was a 50x short up at this level, and I've already taken profits and stuff like that. Sorry guys in the Telegram group, if you're watching, I just couldn't. I didn't have time to set up the explanation and everything, and I wasn't even too sure if this thing was gonna work out. But yeah, I was thinking, yeah, because of this W. Generally, what happens on a W is that this is a breakout trade, and every single time you do it, this is why I don't do breakout trades. Because you actually end up taking a lot of heat. Let me just see if I can set the pointer right at that point. This is the breakout point. This is the breakout point, right? And if you were like, yeah, clapping your head, yeah, and then the red candle, always. Practically, I mean, it's like clockwork. When I see breakout trades, it's just clockwork with those things, right? So that's why I wasn't 100%. Wasn't on my trading plan, and I just saw that it was touching the trend line once again. This trend line, upward trend line once again, and it had to as you can see right here on this on the longer. I was looking for the trade. This at first here. I was hunting the trade here. Didn't see. I thought, okay, well, it looks like I'm gone. It looks like that trade's gone. And then I got an alert way up here, and I was like, yeah, I'm taking it. And it was gone, right? And so, yeah, missed that one, guys. Sorry about that. I feel bad. I should have shared it, but I didn't. I will get you guys back next time, okay? So with that said, what are we doing now? I really think that looking at the shorter time frame, we're doing this another type of W here. Again, we're doing a W again here. So if you wanted to take this thing long, I think we are going to, I'm thinking, I'm not 100% sure, right? But the probabilities are clear that we're going to probably come up to this level up here, somewhere up here. No guarantees from the management, right? But we are bouncing off the 13 EMA, which is good, which makes it seem that we should be doing that. However, again, this is another W with the breakout trade, so don't be surprised should price come back and test this area and go below this area as well. Wouldn't be a surprise there. So how it's going to play out, I don't know. I don't think it's going to break this below here, but it could. We have to just wait and see until a rollover comes over before we actually say whether it's going to go past here or it's just going to basically freak out people and then go higher, sort of like a Hail Mary trade. We have to wait and see how this tops out first before we can say what this is going to do. But that's just the way the ball bounces, especially on the lower time frames, right? It's really difficult to catch trades on the lower time frames. Unless you're sitting in front of a computer 100% of the time, catching trades on a lower time frame is very, very difficult. And so looking at the higher time frames, right, and looking for a trade here, if we were to ignore that wick below and call this a W, one of the trades I have is called a breakout. One of the breakout trades I usually go on is, and this is really difficult because you have to consider that you have to drop that wick, and it is an official wick, but that's what we've got. On a breakout trade, we've already hit the 38.2, so we missed that. The 38.2 would have been an entry point to go higher. So what we could say is, okay, well, we're looking for any kind of retracement of this next breakout, of an internal breakout, right? Because this is breaking out now. So we're going to do the same thing, look for a W, look for a retracement to 38.2 because we already have the W, right? Because this is what happens is generally in trading is everything is in a fractal pattern. Basically, what happens here in a larger time frame happens in the smaller time frame again, over and over again. So what we can go and do is go to the shorter time frame and do the same thing. We have a sort of a little bit of a W here, right? We wait for this thing to finish moving around, right? And one of the things we can do is enter at the 38.2, wherever the top is, and then set the stop loss at the 61.8 as one of the things you can do. Then reestablish another trade at the 78.6 for a Hail Mary, right? And a few other things, but that's one ways you can go about it. Yeah, we're still rising here. That means that if we're going to keep pushing like this, that means the odds are that this trade is going to come in for you. Shouldn't come in on this 15-minute candle, really. It should come in on the next one at the very least. We should have pushed a little bit higher first, and then look for the 38.2 entry and stop loss at 61.8. So let me just show you that by zooming in a little bit and removing all the rest of this stuff because you don't need it. And so let's just say in this candlestick pattern, this happens, we come down to 38.2, which is 9,268. You'd enter at that level, right? And then you'd stop loss at 9,249. Now, what would be your risk? What would be your leverage? Would say some people would say, and I'm not going to go into big explanation, right? But you can technically take a 100x trade on this. You can take a technical and a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio is not a bad idea, right there, right? Now, technically you can take that, but all depends on how much money you've got, right? And we talk about that in our trading group, how much risk to take, how much leverage to take, and why to take it in our trading group. But basically, you see that the percentage risk you're taking is 0.2%. So yeah, you could take a high leverage risk, but only risk like a small percentage of your portfolio. And I explain how that's all done in our Telegram group. So if you want to join our Telegram group, again, we're having a 70% off sale. I forgot to bring that up at Davinci Codes. Right, and so if you're interested in that 70% off sale, right, you can take advantage of that. Starts on July 4th, and I don't know when I'm going to end this sale. Somebody else is doing the marketing, so they're going to be ending that sale whenever they want to. So you might want to take advantage of that right away if you want to join the group. If you already have a subscription, you like what you see, and you want to stay in the group for a longer period of time, you want to take advantage of this sale. Alrighty. With that said, let's head back to take a look at Ethereum, see what it is up to lately. Right, it has gone ballistic as well, doing basically the same thing. If I were to go to, let's see if I have any. The only thing is that it did quite touch the trend line up here, which is I found kind of odd. This trend line cannot be drawn any further out, so I'm not sure. I mean, a little bit, but not much, right? Before it actually doesn't have any touch points. So I'm wondering about this this market here on Ethereum, but it looks like it's traveling with Bitcoin. Let's see if there's any kind of indicators that I can see quickly that's different. I don't see anything different. We are not. There is no divergence, which is good. This thing has some legs to run, so that means we are probably going higher. Do we have let me get rid of the VPVR since I'm not using that. I was hoping to see the 3 drives here. That would have been sweet. Let's go to the hourly. No. And the master shred is not going to give me anything. So yeah, I think that's it. There's no 3 drives here. That's sad. But wow, that was a sweet set of candles right here on the hourly right there. This would have been a nice thing to look for as a trader, right? Right here, those 3 candles. And the 4th one confirms it, right? This is called an empire, basically. The reason why it's called an empire is because it looks like the Empire State Building. Right, and so you have like a long candle up, right? Almost like a hammer candle, actually, right? Or you can call this I guess you could call this a hammer or inti. You're taking classes.
Yes.
Can you see the video here? Can you see this candle here? I don't know if it's caught up on your side, but anyways, I think that's it's not a doji. It's a.
At the top of the empire?
Exactly.
No, that is a shooting star.
Shooting star. That's right. That's what I was looking for. Shooting star, not a hammer. Hammer's the other way. So I knew I was making a mistake on that. So anyways, that's shooting star, and then we have another down candle And then this candle confirms the empire by breaking that last level here, and you can see that from that point on we went down. So you could have taken that as a trade, opened this up after the close of this candle and gone straight down and taken that as a trade as well on Ethereum. So those are the kind of things I'm look for when I'm trying to do a trade, and I'm wondering if that actually showed up on the Bitcoin price. Probably did. No, it did not. There was no. On the hourly, there was no empire candles. That would have been a nice, sweet trade. So yeah, I would have definitely taken that trade, right? Looking at that, because if it showed up as well on Bitcoin, but I know I took a different trade. I took I just went blind on this one, and I was like, okay, forget it. You know what? It came back up here. I'm looking at the price, and oh my gosh, yeah, this thing looks toppy, and down she went. So yeah, that's it for my TA. I hope you enjoyed that. If you're interested in trading this, this is not over yet. We'd probably gonna have to redraw this fib. I don't think your entry point is going to be here at this at this level. So I'm wondering if I should share this at all. I think you'll probably have to like move the fibs a little bit higher before you actually set your entry. All right. Good luck with that, guys. I hope you enjoyed that piece of information. And I hopefully Bitcoin gets up here and then really busts through, because if it gets up here, it could be enough power to do a short squeeze. It could be enough, and then it could explode higher, extremely higher. So let's just see what happens. All right. With that said, I want to talk about what I want to do with. Oops, that's not good. What I want to do if I were to if I were to have like Bill Gates kind of money, right? and I wanted to, and why I want to talk about why as well. Well, in the book, The Creature in Jekyll Island, right? The banksters and the wealthy conspired to get government to create a central bank that would print them money, right? And you're like, what? Print them money? No. They can't print money. The banks can't print money. Dude, if you could borrow money, right, that gets printed out of thin air and borrow as much as you like, right, that is free printed money. Get that through your head, okay? But they have assets. No. See, if it wasn't printed and given to them, right, what would happen? They would have to go to the open market, right, and accept an interest rate that's a lot higher, and put at risk their assets. Okay, with a central bank, they can raise and lower the interest rate at wherever they like, and basically get money for free, right? So, and on top of that, when they created the central bank, did you know they actually borrowed the money to create the central bank from the central bank? Oh, what a joke. Anyways, this system, right? Then when they did finally get the system, they created booms and busts to rob the public of their wealth by slowly moving the wealth from the general public to them, right? And they did that through inflation and deflation and so forth, right? And really screwing up the logical sense of individuals seeing that, well, money is a limited resource, believing that money is a limited resource. And so if there's a lot of money in the system, that means that things will always go positive for quite some time, and you'll act in a different way when there's lots of money, and then you'll act in a different way when there's a lot less money. And because of that, this allows them, the wealthy people, to extract wealth from the poor and the middle class. And so so that's one of the things that they did. And then the next thing they did, right, the banksters and the wealthy did, was they wanted to keep this power, right? They wanted to make sure they had this power for a very, very long time. So how could they possibly do that? Because they knew that this was a fraud, this central banking. And so they didn't want people to educate themselves and understand that this was a fraud and make changes to the government in order to prevent the fraud. So the best thing to do was to pay for education and get the government to even pay for education, to educate people that their crime against them is an actual good thing, a positive thing to the economy. And so this is why people think, government's got to print money because, if they don't, then the whole system will collapse. No. That's true. The whole system will collapse if they don't print more money. But the collapse was caused because of their Ponzi scam, right? So this is why the system doesn't work, right? Because it will collapse, right? If there's isn't more and more money printing being done. So I want to do the opposite of that, right? And I want to start off slowly by educating the public on why we need stable money and why we don't need social programs, right? And we want to use money that's donated and used by other people who want to give it up, in order to help educate people and move in the right direction. To learn that, the government can't give you something without taking it away from somebody else. So, for example, with this current financial system, what happens is there's a lot of fraudulent people going into the government, planning criminal activities. Like, for example, they want to be able to get that free money from you, right? They want to transfer money from you. And the best way to do that is by getting you to do something, accept something that you wouldn't normally accept. And so they would plan like terrorist attacks and so forth, and execute those terrorist attacks and get you to give up your money. And you're like, well, I didn't have to give up any money because they went to war with Iraq. Okay, so how did they pay for that? They pay it by printing the money and giving it to the military, and obviously a lot of people became wealthy because of that attack of Iraq and so forth, and the war in Afghanistan. So and of course that this virus thing is most likely another plan of attack for them for the wealthy to make more money and extract wealth from you as well, because there's a 90% chance, I believe, that this was created in a lab and released from a lab, and there's probably a possibility that they already have the vaccine for this particular virus. No guarantees, but what I've been researching is that they were doing gain of function. Gain of function is basically inserting the abilities into viruses to see what happens. And the reason they gave for doing that kind of behavior and testing gain of function was because they wanted to see what would possibly happen in the future with viruses and create vaccines, right? And so that's what how they sold it. And so I'm like, but what happens if you accidentally get one of these things out? They never really think about that, right? And there's no vaccine yet, right? You got a problem. that's probably what happened. It was probably an accident, or maybe not. Who knows? We will never know because they really scrubbed that. But these are things that they do that are negative when we have this kind of financial system that is a complete crime and transfers wealth from one person to another, right? By getting you to accept more and more social programs, more and more government, more and more wealth being extracted from one person to another. And so we need to change all of that, right? With this new coming paradigm with Bitcoin. And then the real question is, right? Then we obviously move into obviously creating stability in the economy, right? And then having government basically outlaw the fraud of money printing through debt, basically. And governments generally don't. You're like, well, governments are never going to do that. Well, no, governments only do what's expedient to them, right? What gives them more perceived power, and that's a whole topic for another area. But the real question should be asked next is, why do all this? Why do all this work? Why? What's the point, right? Let me ask you a question. What's better, creation or destruction? What's better? Inti, what do you think? What's better, creation or destruction?
Destruction is much easier to do.
Yes, it's much easier to do, but what's better? Is it creation or?
I think creation is better.
Right?
Yes.
It's better than destruction, right? Because it means there's going to be more of something and not less of something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our current financial system is on the side of destruction, right? And that means we're moving in a direction of destroying economic activity, destroying wealth, and becoming less and less free as a people, because it becomes harder and harder for individuals to work their way out and make themselves better in society. And if we create more things, what happens is we get more. So, for example, one of the examples of us getting more is shown with the fact that without the internet, without computers, there's no internet. Without the internet, there's no free speech, and without the free speech and encryption, which was part of free speech, we now have Bitcoin, which allows us to transact freely between one another. And so this builds and builds and builds and goes forward, and we get more, right, over a long term, right, than we would get if we just trying to like steal from one another, right? And I know there's people out there that you're watching right now, you're thinking, well, I think that we should all have free education, and I think we should all have free healthcare, because that should be a basic right. Okay, well, you have no rights to take anything from anyone. You have no right to point a gun at somebody and say, give me free healthcare. You have no right to point a gun and say, give me free education. And you could say, well, I'm not pointing a gun. I'm not doing that. But when you get the government to do that, they have to take the money from somebody to give it to you. So they're actually pointing a gun at somebody, right? So that has to end, right? And don't worry, we will have free healthcare. We will have free education. In fact, I believe if we just didn't have the government involved in education at this point would be absolutely free, or close to it. Basically, the same way you would think about, well, what's the cost of me doing this video interview, this video right now, right? What's the cost of me calling somebody on a video, right? It's practically nothing. So that's the kind of level that I see. I mean, I'm educating you right now, actually. So there you go. Education is free, actually. So that's what I would see coming down the pipe if we just let government stop your nonsense. Stop trying to help because you're not helping, right? And if you don't believe that, okay. In the '60s, the government started a war on poverty, and according to statistics, poverty almost won, is winning, and is probably going to declare victory very, very soon. All right. With that said, let's head off to the question and answer period, right? That Inti and I really love. What do you got for me? I saw a lot of super chats
There
go
was
by.
a lot of super chats and a lot of good questions.
All right.
And Axlowy just warned you that you're just calling for a YouTube ban with all what you said here.
I know exactly. I know.
Okay, so let's go through the super chats first. This gentleman Michael asks or says, "Good afternoon and thank you again for the knowledge which Pandora's Telegram group community has given me. Thank you very much for your donation, sir."
No problem. Thank you very much. Appreciate your help. Next, what do you got for me?
Okay, next super chat is from guess who?
Super Googly.
Super Google Lee, sir. That's it. Super Google Lee asks, how do I remain sane when Tesla and tech stocks are rising like crazy and crypto is standing still for 2 months? Actually, this is a super chat. Thank you very much, Super Google Lee, for your donation.
Thank you for that excellent question, Super Googly. Most people, when they see other assets going up, whilst the asset that they're in is either going down or standing still, they feel that they are losing because, yeah, in a sense, there is an opportunity cost of staying in one asset and not going to the other asset. And yes, that opportunity cost is there. However, right? Do you know for sure which asset is going to rise and when it's going to rise? Inti, do you know for sure of any of that?
No.
No, you don't.
I can do statistical measurements, but I can never know for sure.
Yeah, you never know for sure. You only know. You could only go with relative behaviors with any particular asset. So, for example, what's the relative profitability by holding stocks over cryptocurrencies, right? Over the long run, are stocks going to give you a better return on an investment over the long run, or is cryptocurrencies going to do that over the long run, right? Which one do you think, Inti, will give you a better return on an investment over a long period of time?
In my humble opinion.
In your humble opinion.
In my humble opinion, I think cryptocurrencies will give you much better returns into the long term.
Yes.
Just because the deflationary behavior.
Yes, because of the deflationary behavior and of course the inflationary behavior of the currency that we're currently using. Now you could say, well, stocks have that option too because you're holding a real business. Yes, but you're holding a business with risk, right? And that risk, right, does not exist in the same form as with a cryptocurrency. The risk that you have with a business is that will they actually produce? Will it make money in the future? Will it actually work? Right? And will the people will the people behind the business just run off with the money, right? Which has been done over and over again. With a cryptocurrency, the only thing you have to worry about is will the technology work? The people with a cryptocurrency, most cryptocurrencies, it's just people building the thing, and you are just an owner of that asset. And we lost your camera there, Inti. So your risk overall is lower, but again, this is not an asset with growth for forever growth. but we have at this point in time in history an asset that will outperform stocks for quite some time. But in the future, I really think that that stocks will outperform cryptocurrencies going forward. But that's going to take some time, and so yeah, we're going to switch into stocks eventually, but not right now. All right, next question.
Next question. This is another super chat from Ruhan Santos. Thank you very much, sir, for your donation. Santos asks, Davinci, what are your thoughts on DeFi right now? Can you take a look on DMG token?
My thoughts on DeFi right now. Well, I really think that overall, DeFi projects are going to do extremely well going forward. I'm not going to do some TA on the token. If you're part of the Telegram group, please request it on Sunday or the next time we do a live stream. Yeah, you can make that request, and then I will do some TA on that. But yeah, I think it's a good idea to have a good position, right, in DeFi projects going into the next 2 years. All right, next question.
All right. This is the last super chat and is from Lamy3Chop. Thank you very much, sir or madam, for your donation. And here she asks, she always says, keep up the good work, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, we will try, and I will enjoy. As long as we keep enjoying this thing, we will keep doing a good job, and we are having a good time, aren't we, Inti?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Doing this a lot.
Next question.
Okay, so now is the time I choose questions, and this is the worst part. For example, this is from Axlowy, and here she asks, is it the time to change all alts to Bitcoin?
No, it's not. Because, one, you don't know exactly when the market will turn on you, right? Go really crazy on us and go like popping off, like people start buying the altcoins. Because right, there's a lot of money being printed, and that money is going into different financial assets. And so there will be a time when the people who get that printed money FOMO, and you don't want to be left on the sidelines when they do. So alts have the ability to do, 100x or 1000x moves when it comes to compare it to Bitcoin. Basically, Bitcoin, it's the safe investment. It's a blue chip stock. Whilst the higher the risk, right, and the lower the valuation of an altcoin, the more upside it has. And so you want to be able to benefit from that upside, and you can't do that if you're on the sidelines. So you have to wait. You have to be patient. And yeah, there's going to be down times. There's going to be up times as well. But overall, right, you're looking for the bigger win, right? And the bigger win will come when you're holding the currencies, the cryptocurrency, those altcoins, and for the long run, right? And I can't say for sure that they've topped out. They may go up and do 100x. I can't say that for sure, but there's a good possibility of that, and that's why you want to hold that. All right, next question.
Next question. This is from Attack the Or, and this gentleman asks, isn't block size limit a problem for Bitcoin? Because in 2017, here's like over 200,000 time people had to pay $100 or more in network fee.
Yeah, for a short time, people did have to pay $100 for fees. But a Bitcoin is resilient and it's growing in its abilities. People are working on different, not only Lightning, but I'm sure there's some kid somewhere working on some sort of idea to help make Bitcoin easier to use and lighter weight, right? By building on top of it. And because that allows you to do that, someone will come up with a solution. I think Lightning Network so far has it's kind of like it's kind of weak, but it's just early in stages maybe, and it could be the solution, because when you're transferring over the Lightning Network, it's instant and it's cheap, but the problem is you have to start off by spending the initial funds on the blockchain, and in order to use the Lightning Network, and yeah, there are some issues, but overall it works pretty well, and hopefully it will be the solution. But I'm sure somebody will come up with something, and there are other ways you can deal with this. You can always transfer into different cryptocurrencies to do smaller transactions, right? There's lots of different cryptocurrencies. Nano happens to be one of them that has zero transaction fees. So there you go. So that is another. There's always options, and you can always, when the fees are a lot lower, you could always transfer back to Bitcoin, and also accept. You could also, when you do transfer back to Bitcoin, go. You know what? I'm going to pay a low fee and wait, because I'm just hodling anyways, right? So that's one of the things you can also do. All right, next question.
Okay, this is from Kali Marley, and she asks, when doing the little lady strategy, do you carry on doing this even if Bitcoin was to dump heavily, or is there a price range in which little lady works best?
No, if Bitcoin dumps, because Bitcoin is your currency, you ignore the fluctuations in Bitcoin price, because Bitcoin is your currency. And do you like if you were like living in a particular country, and your currency dumps, right? Most people will say, "Well, I'm going to sell my currency," but they really don't. They really don't. They still, and they end up earning more money in that same currency, even if they do, right? And eventually, what happens? You see a spike back up for a short while before it actually keeps going back down, because every single fiat currency just goes to zero, right? Just keeps going down. But with Bitcoin, it's the opposite direction, right? Its direction, right, is up, right? Keep the valuation, the value of Bitcoin, its general direction is increasing your value. So why do you want to exit something that's increasing in value to get into something that's constantly decreasing in value? Just doesn't make any sense. All right, next question.
Next question. This is from Kev Allen, and he asked, you were saying that when Bitcoin didn't exist yet, you were thinking hard about how to invent something like it. What are you thinking hard about inventing today?
Well, I'm thinking hard about invent. I think I told you guys what I want to do. So, but right now I'm as somebody who wants to build stuff. My ultimate goal as a builder is to build artificial intelligence. That's one of the things that I would love to get into one day as well. But yeah, that's just another dream of mine, and as a builder, and I haven't thought really hard and strong about it lately. I have when I was younger, how to build an artificial intelligent being, but not lately. But going forward, what I really want to do is make a better world for my children and my children's children by, cutting off the government from giving people free stuff and making sure that that we have a monetary system that allows you to save and grow your wealth over time and be able to make a better world by allowing you to go and do what you know, what you do best. Because if you don't have to worry about our monetary system cheating you, you could focus on something that you do best. And that, whatever you build from that, somebody else is going to build something else on top of that. And eventually, that's going to make something great that everybody benefits. And that's why I want that for all of humanity. And I want to see it happen because I'm going to benefit too. All right, next question. Last question, actually.
Last question. Okay, so this is from EOS, and this gentleman asks, honestly, I'll be satisfied with my life if I gain as much knowledge as you have on economics and finance. Can you tell me all the books I should take a look to be like you? Thank you.
Well, I went through a lot of the studying on Mises Institute, which they have everything free online and stuff, and everything I got was online, right? Everything I learned was online, and I just kept doing research and searching on economics and reading anyone who wrote anything on economics. I would just read it. Is mostly what I would do, and they would give me books that I'd read, and I found myself disagreeing with some of the economic books, even though they were Austrian economics. Like, for example, the Human Action is one of the books that I've read, and it's kind of dry, but anyways, one of some of the things I disagreed was how money what is money, the definition of money. I think the definition of money is too complex in the sense of where after I just recently came to this conclusion, right? But I had this conclusion I've already thought about it before when I was looking at how they were saying how money has to come from something that already had value in the first place. And that's just not true. Yes, in generally, that's how you always see money. But if, let's pretend that our paper money had a permanent rule where it could not be created out of nothing, right? It had a fixed supply, and that was that. It would work as money because the rules are clear. Even though the paper money itself did not have value, the rules are clear on that. So because the rule creates the value, it means that money comes from basically your understanding of the rules. And also another thing another conclusion that I recently came to, and I wanted to talk about that, and I just never got a chance to, is that Mike Maloney would like to say that never say money because when you're referring to paper money, because it's not money, it's currency. It's currency, and that's true. However, the definition of money is way overly complex, and I think the easy way to define money is anything that you perceive that you're planning to use to trade for something else and not planning to use directly as it exists. So, for example, for me, the gold coins are money because I don't plan to melt them down and wear them around my neck. I don't plan to change them into jewelry. I don't plan to do any of those things with my gold. So, it's money. I plan to trade it to buy something else. If I had a bunch of cigarettes, right, and I don't smoke, right? And I wanted to sell them, to give them to somebody to get something else. Well, guess what? Those cigarettes are money. Yes, they're not the good form of money. One, because they can rot. Two, they can they can get wet and be damaged very easily. Yeah, they're plentiful in supply. But if I could actually trade them for what I want, then it's money for me. And so, therefore, the simple explanation for money is anything you perceive to be traded for something else, and you're not going to use it for its intended use. And that is the definition, I think, that should be the definition of money. And with that, right, if we consider that the definition of money, anything can be money. Anything at all can be money. And because of that, that's why this Bitcoin token, and even though Peter Schiff thinks it's not money, it is money. If your tendency is to use it to trade it for something else, and you're like, well, that's all you can do with Bitcoin. No. No. You could actually write something in the blockchain with your Bitcoins. You could write a message. You could write a statement that says, hey, you know what? I'm going to write a poem, and I'm going to hash it, and I'm going to write that hash into the Bitcoin onto the Bitcoin blockchain, and that becomes a permanent record stating that I wrote that poem. There you go. Now you used Bitcoin for something other than its real intended use, which is money. Oh, damn. So yeah, Bitcoin is something that you can use for something else, but the most intended use is for money, and that is where we are, and I'm glad that this was invented, because now we have a chance. We have a chance to end the slavery and the wrong direction that humanity is going with our current financial system, which is a system of corruption and destruction. All right. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate every one of you guys hitting the like button, watching these videos. And, if you're interested once again, if you're interested in Pandora's wallet, you want to have any questions, you want to ask me, you want to see what I'm trading and look at all the cryptocurrencies I'm looking at, you want to ask me to do some TA on a particular cryptocurrency, please join my Telegram group by subscribing to Pandora's wallet. You get 70% off right now on that, so check that out. And thank you for watching, and if you haven't seen these videos popping up here, please check them out. All right, take it easy, people.
Bye.